Hope is alive, and yes, hope is alive. Our program deals with setbacks, disappointments, and adversities that some of us have to deal with. It also provides you with a healthy dose of inspiration and hope. Our guest, my name is Eve Moffat. I'm the host of the show, and we have Kay Gibbs. She is the co-host.
Thank you.
Yes, and today's guest has had her share and then some of adversity. She's had a long trial that ended up in a wheelchair with her losing her leg. I'd like to introduce you to Karen Massey. Hi, Karen.
Hi, Eve.
Yes. Well, let's get on to it. How
Okay.
was life like before all this happened?
Oh, I was very active. I didn't participate in any particular sport, but I I camped a lot and walked a lot like that. And I was at my work. I just went from place to place. It was just constant. I would get home exhausted, but it was so nice to be able to do.
What
Yeah,
was
you
your
may-
work? I'm sorry.
I was I managed medical clinics in Phoenix. The largest clinic, I had about 22 people under me. So as you can imagine, you run to each area that you have to control, and it was just lots of fun.
Lots of fun.
Lots of fun.
Yeah, you made a good living.
Yes, I did. Very good.
Yeah,
Not like today.
yeah. Well, what happened?
Well, it started with I had problems with my heart when I turned 50. And I ended up having 2 heart surgeries, 2 separate surgeries. And after that, they would continue to check me, and they ended up doing a cath a couple years later, which is an angiogram. And what it does is it shows inside the heart. And when they pulled it out of the vein, the doctor did, he said it was like pulling out from an onion. This young doctor pulled it out like that, and it should have been taken out very slowly. So it caused a blockage in my vein, and by the next day my leg was blue, and I had to have surgery on it. And they explained to me what had happened. Well, that just started that leg, and then I had problems with it. I used to be able to walk all the time at lunch. All of us women would get out there and walk for all we were worth for lunch hour. I couldn't do it. I could take about 10 or 12 steps, and it would start pain in my leg. And I had no idea what was going on. But I eventually saw a doctor about it. They had to do bypasses. I probably had about 10 bypasses.
Wow.
And then I had a major surgery where they took the blood from my right leg and put it into my left leg, which I think is fascinating. And so that kept me about a year and a half more. But they had brought up having my leg off all along.
Karen, how old were you at this time?
Well, this started, my heart attacks or my heart surgeries were when I was 50. And by the time I was 56,
So this was
they
a
were
very short
talking.
time when all of this
Yeah,
just
oh yeah,
snowballed.
to have so many things happen.
Were you able
And-
to continue to work?
No.
No. How many surgeries have you had altogether?
Oh, I figured that out. I think it's just shy of 20
Oh my goodness.
since then.
Yeah.
Up until that time, I had no health problems
So
at
now-
all.
So now they started talking about the leg and losing it, perhaps.
Yes, they were talking about my losing my leg, and they said something to me in the hospital, and my daughter and I left, and I said, Amy, I don't want you to worry about my losing my leg, because I'm not going to live that long. I'm going to commit suicide. I'm not going to run around like a freak with one leg.
Yeah?
That's how smart I was. So then I started going to a religious class that I I'm religious anyway. I belong to a church, but then they have classes where people talk about adversities and how to come over it through your faith. And so I started going to that. And in a year's time, when we actually faced having the leg off, I had gone from wanting to commit suicide to I was able to pray that I could accept what God had in store for me.
Oh.
I did not pray to have it below the knee, which is much, much better, or to have it above the knee. I just prayed that I could accept it. And that was a big change in a year's time.
It was.
And my faith is what did most of it.
Yes.
You know, and listening to people, learning, that was just huge.
Yes. The knee, tell me about the surgeries. You had more than one surgery on the knee, on the leg.
On the leg, okay, they cut it off. I was in the hospital 6 weeks, and they cut it off below the knee. And it looked pretty good, but then I got staph. So I went back into the hospital, and this was a major thing. They tried working the staph out of there and giving
Now,
me
what
all
is
kinds.
staph?
Staph infection?
Yes.
Well, they say you actually carry it in you, but it's kind of prevalent in hospitals and in clinics and places like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I had MRSA, which is the worst staph you can have. They had to fly in medicines and go get medicines for me. And so couldn't get rid of the staph, so then they took the leg off again below the knee, just below the knee. And that seemed to be better, but unfortunately, my upper leg had it by then.
Yes.
We didn't know it, but one of the veins had just collapsed. And so the pain was so horrible. I can't even put into words the pain, the way it was. And they gave me morphine, they gave me help. But this was just unbelievable. And so finally I said, will you cut off the top? Which losing that knee makes a huge difference in how you get around. But if you can't stand the pain, you don't have much of a life anyway.
Yes.
So I had them cut it off above the knee, and it was just unbelievable the difference it made in
Yes.
the pain.
Yes.
In the pain. When I had the surgery, they had given me a, what's it called? Where they go in through the back. I can't remember the term for it. But they give you one of these, like some women when they have babies. They give you this, and then you're just kind of can't, epidural? Yeah.
Yes.
You can't you can't feel anything. And I went in there at 4 o'clock for the surgery, and I got back to my room at around 4 o'clock in the morning. And all this time, I was in recovery, because in recovery, that wore off. And they wanted to put something completely up my spine for the pain that I was going to have, and they couldn't get it to work.
Yeah.
I finally passed out from the pain.
Yes.
But my sister was waiting outside, and I could hear her saying, why are you telling me it's only going to be another 30 minutes? This has been 3 hours. You know, she was really upset about this. And so it was something else. But once I get back to my room, the pain was gone, thank God. And that's what I needed to continue on.
Now, there was a fundraiser.
Oh, yes. The first leg they gave me, you had to click it each time you took a step. If you didn't, well, you had to lock it in each time you did a step.
Yes.
If you didn't, you would fall flat on your face.
Okay.
And it didn't hold real well. You had to be just a certain position. So I always had to have a walker with me anyway, because I'd fall over. And so then they told me I could get the sea leg, which is a leg that they give to a lot of the veterans coming home.
Yes.
And it's got a computer in it, and it's just a wonderful leg. They can all kinds of features to it. So, but they wanted the leg itself cost $53,000, That's what Medicare paid. My payment was $12,000.
Yes.
And after all the times I'd been in the hospital, and I didn't have insurance at the time, only Medicare.
Yes.
It had cleaned me out.
Yes.
So my friend said, I think we're going to have a fundraiser for you. So they did, and two good friends that ran restaurants in Flagstaff provided the food, and one provided the space. We had 5 or 6 different acts of people playing music.
Yes.
And they all volunteered. I mean, it was just wonderful.
Oh,
Everybody.
boy.
Yes,
Yes.
everybody volunteered. And it was just unbelievable. You could hardly see in the room because it was, and it was a large restaurant room.
Yes.
Because it was so crowded. And
How much did you make?
I made over the 11,000. I was able to pay for the physical therapy afterwards.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, so and it was just marvelous. It was a Sunday afternoon, and I've never had anything touch me as much as that.
Yes.
Now, how long ago was that?
Okay, I'm thinking that was about 8 years ago.
8 years ago.
Yeah.
So life has continued on a positive note for you?
Well,
Therapy?
yes, it has, but at that time I could use crutches and I could use a walker. I have severe diabetes, and it attacked my other leg. So I have diabetic neuropathy in the other leg, and I can't stand on it.
Yes.
I can stand for maybe 3-4 seconds, and then I'm on the ground. So
Did that
I've
knock
had.
you down? I mean, did that just overwhelm you when that was
Oh, yes, it
diagnosed?
did. I'd finally gotten this gorgeous leg, and I'm set to go.
Yeah,
and-
because you're driving.
Oh,
You're
yeah,
going
driving.
everywhere.
Oh, yeah. And so then I had to go back. I had to go to a chair. I'd not had a chair before. But I learned to put my chair into my car,
Yeah.
and I got a lightweight chair, learned to put it in my car, and I still went everywhere I wanted. I went out, drove myself out to see my daughter out in Spokane, Washington.
That's a long way.
Yeah, all by myself.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
did it, I think, twice.
Wow.
And I was so happy to get along that
Yes.
well. And then things started getting a little harder, but that's just a matter of age.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some of my getting around is a little less,
Yeah.
but I started this when I was about 56, and I'm 68, so.
Well, you've outlived
Think
the,
of that.
the doctor said.
Oh, yes. They said I'd die by 55, and now I'm 68.
That's great. And you had your
Uh-huh.
birthday yesterday.
Yes.
Yes, happy
I did.
birthday.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Now, this latest illness with your leg has made you come to another turning point.
Yes, it has. I fell in the house and really did a number on my ankle. I don't have any ligaments in that ankle from a really bad sprain years ago, 25, 30 years ago. So they've always told me to be really careful of it. So they put a big brace on it, not a brace really, they put a big cast on it.
Yes.
I had that for probably 5 or 6 weeks, and then that was taken off, and now they have a brace on it, and I have some pretty severe swelling.
This is recent. This is just recent. in
Yeah,
your
this
history.
is within the last 2 months.
2 months?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yeah.
And so I've come to the point that it's really hard for me to completely take care of myself. I just got, about 4 or 5 days ago, I got on Altex, which is Arizona Long-Term Care. And they will send people to help me get into the shower because I can't put all my weight on that ankle. It won't hold me. So I need help with my shower. They're going to help me with my laundry. They're going to help me with cleaning my house.
General maintenance.
Yes. Yeah, and maintenance on me too.
Yes.
Because I've had to accept just in the last 2 weeks that I really should not be driving.
Oh, wow.
That's
I-
a big one.
Yeah,
That's a big one.
You're such a goer. I mean,
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So I've arranged a lot of rides and can get to a lot of places. Plus, Altex will take me to a store to buy my groceries. That's huge.
That's huge, yes.
That is. And so I don't know what it'll be like. I know it's got to be a whole lot better than it has been lately.
Yes.
And it's just, I just can't really depend on, I can drive okay, but I can't depend on putting my chair in, standing on that leg, putting my chair in, and then sitting down in the front. I fall before I get there.
You actually fall.
Oh, I have, yes. Yes, I have.
So do you get out
But-
in the community? I mean, can you get outside and take a walk or use your patio
Oh,
or
I
things
have
like that?
I have a beautiful garden on my patio. I have, when I moved to Cottonwood, I didn't have a single person that I knew. And I have so many friends through the church, and I do some work for the church. And then I have girls I play bridge with. I've just met so many strong women in the place where I live, and because it's all seniors,
Yes.
and it's just wonderful. I go for walks all the time. I really enjoy it, and I really love getting out and doing things.
I think you're indomitable.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think you're indomitable.
Yes. Yes, you are. You're ferocious. Tell us about your other chair. Your electric chair?
Oh, yes. This last summer, I was able to get another chair, and it's an electric chair in the house. It's got 6 big wheels, and I barely have walls left. But, but I can go to town on that, and I can take it like down to the office or for long walks, because I also have run into a problem with my arms. I have a diabetic neuropathy in my arms now. So I can only push myself a little ways, and I can't push anymore
Yes.
because it hurts too much.
Yes.
So this thing, man, my friends back off when I'm around because I really get going on it.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Wow.
So what would you put out to other people that have had such adversities? I mean, it's just been like a roller coaster of one thing after another.
Yes,
after
it
another. And then
has.
you roller coaster backwards. You keep coming up and up and up.
Yeah.
And then down and down you're going.
Mhm, up and up and up.
down.
Yes.
It's amazing. How do you do that?
I'd say it's 99% faith. Like I said, I am a Christian, and I really have a strong faith. I know that I have to face and accept what has happened to me, and each time what happens to me. There's no point in crying over it. It's done.
But you do cry.
Oh yeah, I did cry. Of course, I cried over my ankle. But no, sure, it's horrifying and sad. But if you get to the point that you face what's happened to you, all you can do is go forward from there. Why would you dwell on one of the worst things that might have happened to you in your life? Who wants to dwell on that? You've got beautiful memories, and you can make more. And, like I had told Eve before, I really have dreams.
Dreams.
I've been able to daydream since I was a kid. You can ask my teachers. But I probably won't do these things. But my little brain will go off to this and that. I'll see a movie about a particular country. Oh, man, I'd like to be there. And it doesn't mean that my life has stopped. It's just been slowed down.
Yes.
It's still, I have a wonderful, wonderful life. And
So it's
I'm a happy
gratitude,
person.
It's grieve and get over it. Grieve and get on.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
why do you want to dwell on the bad things that have happened to you?
Yeah.
You want to dwell on the good things and
Say
the
good
things
luck.
that might happen. That's really what I would have to say that I'd say to anybody
Yeah.
in this circumstance.
Yes.
Grieve and get on.
You know, and literally get over. Put a smile on your face, for God's sake. What does that cost? Except for wrinkles, but it also makes you feel good.
Yes.
It makes people around you feel more comfortable.
Yes.
You know, because they do. They're staring and so on. I personally don't want to see it. I'll go down the street and my grandson will say, Grandma, doesn't bother you? All those people staring at you? Well, I didn't notice.
Yes.
That's not where I'm looking.
Yes.
You know? I'm just going ahead to whatever we're going to do next.
Yes.
Good for you.
And
Wow.
so you don't have to be miserable or self-conscious. And if you can smile and be friendly, other people will feel like they can approach you and offer to do something for you, or just say hi. How you doing? You
So
know.
your attitude is choice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Choice. You have choice.
Oh, you do have
And
choice.
you back it up with a great faith.
Yes, I'm very fortunate. Very fortunate.
Yes.
You are indeed.
Yes.
You're a good message bringer.
Yes.
Sharon?
Yes, you are a good message bringer. You have a family? Tell me about your family.
I have 2 daughters. One lives in Flagstaff, and she's got a husband and 2 sons. And then I've got my oldest daughter is in Spokane, Washington, and she's got a daughter and a son and a husband.
Yes.
And I just went to Spokane.
You went to Spokane?
Oh, yes.
Oh, tell me about it.
It was gorgeous. I didn't know how much I needed a change. And it really was financially very difficult for me to pay for it. But my grandson, as he's only 10, he asked me on the phone, when are you going to come and see me, Grandma? Well, it's been a couple of years. At that age, you got to enforce that they remember you, you know? And so I said, oh, maybe I'll come this summer. Well, I got it started, and off I went, you know? But even though flying is not my favorite thing to do, it's very difficult for me.
You flew?
Yes.
Time.
Oh, yes. Flew, absolutely. I wanted to drive, but no one agreed with me. And so I flew.
And you had a companion?
And I had a companion, yes. My friend Dave came and pushed me all over Spokane, I think.
Yes.
Didn't miss a thing. And my daughter and my granddaughter were in triathlon while I was there, and so I got to sit out and watch the whole thing. It was wonderful. Just had a wonderful time. The weather was perfect. My grandson was adorable. It was wonderful.
And you came back with a good perspective on yourself.
Yes, because I feel so like there's nothing weighing me down anymore. You know, I'm ready. I got some ideas out there. I'm always looking for ideas. And I found some things that I'd like to do and change about my house, as usual.
You have a lovely house.
I know, but I changed it around a lot. Good luck a man's not there because they don't like change.
Now, you were telling me about flying on the plane. Tell me what it's like for someone like you.
Okay, it's miserable. They take you to Dave was pushing me, and but I still had to pay a porter because he had so many things to carry. But I usually have to take at least $50 one way for tips. And yeah, and then they get me to the door of the plane. They take me out of my wheelchair. That's the end of last time I see that until I arrive at the next place. They put me in this little chair that they have straps around me. And it's an aisle chair. It's a wheelchair. And they pulled me back and put me in a seat. Well, from there on, I had Dave with me if I needed to, but from there on, I've flown alone. There's no going to the bathroom. There's nothing, because you can't walk. You can't stand up. You can't get to anywhere. Wow. And so you just sit there. And then, of course, people always want to sit next to you that don't want to move the whole time.
Yeah.
So that's uncomfortable. But, and so then, and I get off at
Are you the last to deplane, or do they take you off first?
I'm the last to deplane. Yeah, no, they take me off last every time. And I'm the first to go on,
Yes.
sometimes 10 minutes or 15
so
before
that
the
really
other
means you're
people.
sitting down.
So I'm sitting there a long time trying to not think about that I can't do anything but sit there.
Yeah.
But, so it's real, well, and I should have mentioned before I got to the thing, going through the,
Security?
yes, the security, that is a hassle because my knee has a computer in it. My diabetic pump has a computer in it, so I can't go through any kind of their machines. So they have to pat me down and,
Do you have a doctor's note or some sort of paper that explains that you've got this and you've got that, and any certification?
no, they can
No.
see by looking at me.
Yeah,
I just
yeah.
tell them. And they know what a pump is and they know my leg could be.
Yeah.
I see.
And so I mention it to them. And so they do all of that, which is very uncomfortable
Yeah.
because they do it right in front of everybody.
Yeah, yeah.
Some of them are not too bad, but others seem to like people looking at them when they do it. And of course, when they're looking at them, they're looking at me.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But then we get down there and I get on. So it's not the end of the world. It's just not something pleasant in my life.
Yes.
It's the only way I can get somewhere anymore.
Yeah.
But
You
it's
did
not.
it. You
Yeah.
did it.
Oh, of course I did it.
You have just accepted life. It is what it is.
Oh, yeah. That's all you can do. You're
Yes.
not going to change it.
Yes.
You know, all we can do is accept what it is.
Oh, Karen, this has been fascinating.
Oh, thank you.
You've been a good guest.
Thank you.
Is there anything else you'd like to say?
I can't really think of anything.
That's
Thank
great.
you.
You've been very good. Well,
you.
this has been another episode, an exciting episode of Hope is Alive with my co-host Kay Gibbs, and we want to thank you and keep smiling. Hi, I have something I want to share with you. Joe, a friend of mine, gave me this little tidbit. He said, put gratitude into the attitude. And it's hard to be down. It's hard to be down on yourself, down on life, if you can come up with some gratitude. Be grateful for what you have. And it's just hard to be depressed if you have some gratitude.
Don't waste another moment on fools and things that keep you down. They can't or won't change, but you can. You can turn your life around.
The name of the show is Hope is Alive. It's about, we have different guests on every week. And these are guests who have been through some tragedies, some despair, letdowns, disappointments, just life's adversities. And they come on the show and they tell their story. The story is inspirational for those viewers who themselves are at the point in their life when life just seems overwhelming and you've reached that last point in your life when you're about to give up. Our show just lifts people up and gives them hope.
Feels like nowhere to run to, there's nowhere to hide. Don't let fear overtake you. It's time to decide that you'll never give up, never give up, never give up. Never give up, never give up, never give up. Never give up, never give up, never give up. Never give up, never give up, never give up. Don't waste another moment on fools and things that keep you down. They can't or won't change, but you can. You can turn your life around.